Good morning, everyone. We are in Group 1 and we will discuss the financial statements, cash flow, and taxes. Next slide, please. And here's my group members, Mr. Layugan, Mr. Cato, and Ms. Viñas. Next slide, please. And here's our table of contents. Next slide, please. A brief story of accounting and financial management. Next slide, please. Uh, yeah. So, ang financial statements ay importante to think about the real assets behind those numbers. So, if you understand kung paano at bakit nagsimula ang accounting and how financial statements are used, mas maisalarawan mo kung ano ang nangyayari and why accounting information ay napakahalaga. So, thousands of years ago, individuals or family were self-contained, meaning that they gathered their own food, made their own clothes, and built their own shelters. So this era was marked by a lack of formalized record keeping or accounting practices as resources were managed within small self-sustaining units. So next is specialization began and the barter system took place. As specialization began, people traded goods and services through barter, exchanging goods directly without using money. Initially, ang trade ay limitado sa local areas, kung saan ang mga artisan ay working independently to introduce goods. With the emergence of specialization, ang mga tao ay nagsimula silang mag-focus on specific skills, leading to the development of trade, initially through barter. Next slide, please. Money introduced by traders. The introduction of money traders brought about significant changes in economic transaction. Money initially in the form of commodities like clamshells and later previous naging metals like gold, yung mga ginto. Ang sistema ng mga individuals ay direktang nagpapalitan ng mga goods and services nang dahil hindi naganap sa isang standardized medium of exchange tulad ng pera. While this facilitated trade to some extent, nagdulot din ito ng mga challenges in terms of valuing different goods and ensuring fair exchanges. Next is business started with loans. Lenders could physically inspect assets. In the early stages of business, particularly when loans were the primary source of funding, lenders often relied on physical inspection to assets to assess the value of security of their investment. This means that before granting a loan, susuriin ng mga lenders ang mga ari-arian ng nanghihiram tulad ng machinery, inventory, or property upang suriin ang kanilang halaga at matukoy kung sapat na collateral ang mga ito para sa pautang. Next slide, please. Financial statements and report. Next slide, please. Financial statements and reports are essential tools for businesses to communicate their financial performance, position, and activities to various stockholders. So first is annual report. Most important report corporation issue to stockholders. Next slide please. Contain verbal annual verbal annual verbal information is annual reports consist of written narratives, letters, shucks, hindi. Annual report contain two types of information. First is verbal section. Letters from chairman. So ito yung mag ka ng narratives, letter, and explanation provided by the company's management. This section offers insight into the company's strategic directions, achievements, challenges, and future plans. I think this describe the firm's operating result during past years, discusses new development that will affect future operation. Next slide, please. Financial statements and data that present the company's financial performance, position, and cash flows for the fiscal years. So, ayan po siya, balance sheet. Next slide, please. And then the income statement. Next slide, please. Statement of cash flow. Statement of retained earnings. The provided information does not specify the exact detail of what happened to assets, earnings, and dividends over the past few years for Allied Food Products. However, based on the general context, it mentions that Allied earnings dropped in 2005 to $117.5 million, drawn ay compared to $121.8 million in 2004. The decline is attributed to losses associated with a drought and increased costs due to the 3-month strike. Allied financial statements are straightforward with financing through debt and common stock. The company has no preferred stock, convertibles, or complex derivatives securities. Accusation have not led to goodwill on the balance sheet. All assets are used in basic business operations, eliminating the need to analyze non-operating assets. Next slide, please. Ayan po, for addition, the financial statement report was what has actually happened to assets, earning, and dividends over the past few years. Next slide, please.
So our next topic is the balance sheet. The balance sheet represents a snapshot of the firm's position at a specific point in time. It refers to a financial statement that reports a company's asset, liabilities, and shareholder equity. It also provides the basis for computing rates of return for investors and evaluating companies' capital structure. So, as you can see, this is a simple illustration of a typical balance sheet. The left side of the statement show the assets that the company owns, while on the right side, it shows the firm's liability and equity, which represent claims against the asset. These figures indicates assets are divided into two major categories, current and long-term. Current assets include cash plus other items that should be converted to cash within 1 year, while long-term assets are those whose useful lives exceeds 1 year, and they include physical assets such as plant and equipment. Just like assets, liabilities are also divided into two major categories, current liabilities and long-term debt. Current liabilities are obligations that are due to be paid off within a year, and they include accounts payable, accruals or the total accrued wages and accrued taxes, and notes payables that are due within 1 year. While long-term debt includes terms, loan, loan and bonds that have maturities longer than a year. Stockholders' equity is also divided into two accounts, common stock and retained earnings. The amount shown as common stock is essentially the amount of cash that stockholders paid to the company when it originally issued stock for use in acquiring assets, while the retained earnings account is built up over time as the firm saves a part of its earning rather than paying them all out of dividends. Mathematically, the formula used in balance sheet is asset is equal to liabilities plus owner's equity. So this is the example of a typical balance sheet. Next is the income statement. Income statement is a report summarizing the firm's revenue and expenses during an accounting period, generally a quarter or a year. The income statement focuses on the revenue, expenses, gains, and losses reported by a company during a particular period. While balance sheet can be thought of as a snapshot of company's financial on a particular date, the income statement reports an operation over a period of time, usually a quarter or a year. So this is an example of income statement. Next topic is the net cash flows. Net cash flow is a profitability metric that represents the amount of money produced or lost by a business during a given period. It is the actual net cash as opposed to accounting profit or net income that a firm generates. Net cash flow is comprised of three categories: operating activities, financial activities, and investing activities. Operating activities are capital generated and used by your company's basic operations, including expenditures for administrative expenses and receipts from customers. Financial activities are capital generated through debt agreements of cash that has been issued to pay off debts or pay off dividends. Investing activities are capital generated by profitable investment or cash issued to make an investment or purchase fixed asset. Net cash flow has a straightforward formula, which is net cash flows is equal to total cash inflows minus total cash outflows.
Statement of cash flows. Next slide, please. Yun. Yung statement of cash flow po, isang financial statement kung saan pinapakita ang paglabas at pagpasok ng pera sa company. So why is it important for us to monitor the inflows and outflows of the cash? Una, ito yung pinaka-liquid na asset. Sa company, ito yung pwedeng kuhain ng mga employees or pwedeng nakawin. At ito rin yung pinaka-importanteng asset natin kasi it is used for our operations. When we say inflows, ito yung pagpasok ng pera sa company and outflows, paglabas ng pera sa company. The Philippine Financial Reporting Standards requires three main categories in the SCF or Statement of Cash Flow. Next slide, please. Next. Yan. Sa operating activities, pabalik po ng slide. Yan. Sa operating activities, cash inflow under operating activities, ang example po nun is received from sale of goods and perform services. Ito yung kapag nag-perform ng service at nagbayad ng cash si client. And isa pang example ng cash inflow under operating activities is received from royalties, fees, commissions, and other revenues. Ito yung mga kinitang pera mula sa iba pang pwedeng pagkuhaan ng kita ng business. Basically, cash inflow, pumasok na pera under operating. And example ng cash outflow ng under operating activities is pagbabayad natin ng expenses. Example, pagbabayad ng buwis, pagbabayad ng interest, at pagbabayad ng iba pang gastusin. Para mas madaling maintindihan, yung cash flow under operating activities are transactions that involve revenue accounts like cash inflow, more on revenue ang natanggap ng company, also expense accounts. Sabi nga sa cash outflow, payments of expenses, also the accounts receivable and accounts payable kapag nagpapautang or may nasisingil na pautang coming from our credit customers. And cash flow under investing activities naman, para mas madali rin nating tandaan, it involves non-current assets. It is receipts from sale of property and equipment. Yung mga kapag nagbenta ka ng machine or equipment or property ng business. Cash inflow, example ng under investing activities is yung mga natanggap mong pera mula sa pinagbentahan ng non-current assets mo. Receipts from sale of investment in debt or equity securities. And example ng cash outflow under investing activities is tayo naman yung bumili ng property or equipment or other properties. So naglabas tayo ng pera doon. Kabalik rin siya ng cash inflow actually. Payment to acquire debt or equity security. Namili ng equity securities, nag-invest sa ibang company, naglabas ka ng pera, so that is under investing activities. And flow and from cash flow from financing activities naman is accounts involved are owner's equity, withdrawals, and notes payable accounts. Example ng cash inflow under financing activities is receipts from investment by the owners. Kapag may investment coming from the owner, nadadagdagan yung perang kapital ng business dahil nag-invest si owner. And cash outflow from financing activities is the withdrawals of the owner. Nag-withdraw naman yung owner ng business ng pera. Next slide po. Ayun. The statement of cash flows as shown in this table 3.3 is the accounting report that shows how much cash the firm is generating. The statement is divided into 4 sections and we explain it on a line-by-line basis. And first, operating activities. This section focuses on the cash flow that generated by the company's regular business activities like selling products or services. Next is the net income. The first item listed under operating activities is net income. This represents the company's profit after all expenses are deducted. In an ideal scenario where all sales are for cash and all expenses require immediate cash payments, net income would directly translate to cash flow from operations. However, it is rarely the case. Next is the depreciation and amortization are non-cash expenses that reduce net income but don't directly affect cash flow. They are added back to the net income when calculating cash flow from operations because they represent the use of cash in prior periods to acquire assets. And sa letter D is increase in inventories. An increase in inventories indicates that the company has used cash to purchase more inventory items. This amount is shown in parentheses because it represents a decrease in cash flow. Letter E, increase in accounts receivable. An increase in accounts receivable signifies that the company has sold goods or services on credit, meaning it hasn't received the cash yet. This is another use of cash flow shown as a negative number. And so letter F, increase in accounts payable. Accounts payable represent a short-term loan from suppliers. The company has received goods on credit, effectively increasing its cash flow. This amount is shown as a positive number. And sa letter G, increase in accrued wages and taxes. Similar to accounts payable, an increase in accrued wages and taxes represents short-term loans from employees and the government. This is considered a cash inflow. And sa letter H, net cash provided by operating activities. This line represents the sum of all cash inflows and outflows from the operating activities. A positive number indicates the company generated cash from its core business, while a negative number suggests it used cash for operations. And sa letter I, investing activities. This section tracks cash flows associated with long-term assets like property, plant and equipment, as well as short-term investments. Sa letter J, additions to property, plant, and equipment. The purchase of fixed asset represent a cash outflow for the company. This amount is shown in a parenthesis. Sa letter K, net cash used in investing activities. This line reflects the total cash used for investing activities during the period. Sa letter L, financing activities. This section details the company's borrowing and repayment activities, including issuing stocks or bonds and distributing dividends. Letter M, increase in notes payable. Borrowing money from a bank through short-term notes increases the company's cash flow. Letter N, increase in bonds, long-term debt. Issuing bonds to raise long-term capital is considered a cash inflow. Letter O, payment of dividends to stockholders. Dividend payments to stockholders represent a cash outflow for the company. This amount is shown as a negative number. Letter P, net cash provided by financing activities. This line shows the total cash flow generated or used from financing activities. And letter Q sa summary, this section provides an overview of the overall change in the company's cash position during the period. Letter R, net increase in cash. This line reflects the net change in cash and cash equivalents after considering cash flow from operating, investing, and financing activities. Letter S, cash and equivalents at the beginning of the year. This amount represents the company's cash balance at the beginning of the accounting period. And last, cash and equivalent at the end of the year. This line shows the company's ending cash balance calculated by adding the beginning balance to the net cash flow change. Next slide po. Statement of retained earnings. Next slide. Statement of retained earnings in the Philippine context. The statement of retained earnings reconciles a company's profits over time. It starts with the beginning balance of retained earnings, adds net income or profit for the period, subtracts any dividends paid to shareholders, and arrives at the ending balance of retained earnings. Next slide po. Yun. The change in retained earnings between balance sheet dates is reported in the statement of retained earnings. The table 3.4 shows that Allied earning 117.5 million during 2005, paid out $57.5 million in common dividends, and flowed $60 million back into the business. And the balance sheet item retained earnings increased from $750 million at the year end 2004 to $810 million at the year end 2005. Note that retained earnings represents a claim against asset. Moreover, firms retained earnings for reinvestment in the business, which means investing in plant and equipment, in inventories, and so on, not to pile up cash in bank account. Changes in retained earnings occur because common stockholders allow management to reinvest funds and that otherwise could be distributed as dividends. And the beginning, equity balance is always listed on its own line, followed by any adjustment that are made to retained earnings for prior period errors. This adjustment could be caused by improper accounting methods used, poor estimates, or even fraud. The sum of or differences is usually subtracted at this point. Next is the additions and subtractions are listed. Additions include net income. It if the company is profitable. If the company is not profitable, net loss for the year is included in the subtract subtractions along with any dividends to the owners. Dividends are always subtracted from the retained earnings because once dividends are declared, the company owns its shareholders the funds and must take these funds out of its retained earnings even if they are simply declared and not paid. The last line on the statement sums all the total of this adjustment and lists the ending retained earnings balance. Next slide. So, yon. The retained earnings statement shows how much profit a company has retained over time, indicating its ability to reinvest in the business and grow shareholder wealth. And next is uses and limitations of financial statements. Next slide. Financial statements are valuable tools for various stakeholders, but it's important to understand their limitations. First is the uses. Investors' financial statement help assess a company's financial health, profitability, and growth potential before making investment decisions. Creditors, banks, and lenders use financial statement to evaluate a company's creditworthiness and ability to repay loans. Management financial statement provide insights into a company's performance, helping management make informed decisions about resource allocation, investment, and financial strategies. Government financial statements are used by government agencies to regulate businesses, collect taxes, and monitor economic activity. Next po. And for the limitations, historical data, financial statement reflects past performance, not necessarily guaranteeing future results. Accounting estimates, financial statements rely on statements and judgment by accountants, which can introduce some subjectivity. Focus on financial performance. Financial statements primarily focus on financial metrics, not necessarily capturing a company's intangible asset or brand value. Manipulation or rare cases. In cases, companies might manipulate financial statement to present a rosier financial picture. Understanding these limitations is crucial.
So, modifying accounting data for investors and managerial decisions. So, itong topic na to mostly ginagamit ito ng mga creditors, tax collectors, financial analysts. So, meron silang ginagawang mga certain modifications para makatulong sila sa decision making sa corporate and stock valuation purposes. So dito sa topic na 'to malalaman natin kung paano nga ba ginagamit ng mga analyst yung accounting data para ma-measure and ma-evaluate yung isang performance ng company. So, operating assets and operating capital. So, operating assets basically ito yung mga core resources or mga tangible and intangible assets na kailangan ng isang company para makapag-produce sila ng goods and services, para kumita sila or makapag-gain sila ng mga profit or ng income. So, under ng assets, meron tayong operating current asset. So, ito yung mga mabilis maubos or mabilis ma-liquid. So, dito napapasok sila cash, accounts receivable, and inventories. So, si long-term operating assets naman, ito yung mga nagbibigay ng mga benefits sa isang company within for more than 1 year. So, dito napapasok sila PPE or property, plant and equipment, yung machineries, yung mga vehicles, tsaka yung mga fixtures. Yan. So, operating current liabilities naman, ito yung mga short-term financial obligation na isang company. So, for example, si company, bumili siya ng mga materyales sa mga suppliers niya, pero hindi niya agad nabayaran. So, papasok na siya sa liability. So, dito na papasok sila accounts payable and mga accruals. So, para naman ma-evaluate natin yung performance ng isang company, meron tayong net operating working capital. So, dito pinapakita yung total amount na capital na funded ng mga investors' equity. So, basically, ito lang yung difference ni operating current asset tsaka ni current liabilities. So, ang formula niya is net operating working capital is equal to current asset minus current liabilities. So, try natin siyang gamitin sa data ng financial statement sa balance sheet. So, sa balance sheet na yun, ang pinag-uusapan doon is million of dollars. So, bale, ang kukunin muna natin is yung year 2005. So, net operating working capital is equal to yung current asset natin doon na cash plus accounts receivable plus inventories. So, si cash doon is 10 plus yung accounts receivable na 375 plus inventories natin na 615 minus yung current liabilities. So, si current liabilities, ito na yung accounts payable tsaka si accruals. So, hindi natin sinasama si notes payable kasi ano siya, long-term liability siya. So, since ang focus lang naman ni net operating working capital is mga short term lang. So, accounts payable doon na 60 plus 140 na accrual. So, 10 plus 375 plus 615 is equal to 1 billion minus 60 plus 140 is equal to 200 million. So, 1 billion minus 200 million is equal to 800 million. Therefore, ito na yung magiging net operating working capital ni Allied Food Product during 2005. So, para naman malaman kung magkano yung increase ni Allied Food Product, gagamitin naman natin yung data ng 2004. So, net operating working capital is equal to 80 na cash plus 315 na accounts receivable plus 450 na inventories minus 30 na accounts payable plus 130 na accruals. So, 80 plus 315 plus 415 is equal to 810 million minus 30 plus 130 is equal to 160 million. So, 810 million minus 160 million is equal to 650 million. So, therefore, in-increase ni Allied per product is 150 million during 2005. Next is total operating capital. So, ito naman dito, pinapakita ko magkano yung capital amount na kinakailangan para mag-operate effectively yung isang business. So, ang formula niya is total operating capital is equal to net operating working capital plus net fixed asset. So, try natin din siyang gamitin sa data ng 2005 doon sa balance sheet. So, total operating capital 2005. So, 2005 din is equal to yung net operating working capital natin kanina na 800 million plus yung net fixed assets na 1 billion. So, total operating capital is equal to 800 million plus 1 billion is equal to 1 billion 800 million. So, ayun yung magiging total operating capital niya during 2005. So, para naman malaman natin kung magkano din yung in-increase, gagamitin din natin yung data ng 2004. So, total operating capital 2004 is equal to 650 million yung total na net operating working capital natin kanina plus 870 na net fixed asset. So, 650 million plus 870 million is equal to 1,520,000. So, nagkaroon siya ng increase from 1,520,000 to 1,800 million. So, ganun kumpitin yung total operating capital natin. So, operating cash flow. So, sa operating cash flow naman, basically, dito makikita kung magkano yung mga pumapasok na pera sa isang company or kung magkano yung mga nagagastos ng company sa normal business activities nila. So, meron tayong inflows and outflows. So, si inflows naman, ito yung mga interest, mga investments, or mga loans, tsaka yung mga dividends na natatanggap. So, si outflows naman, ito yung cash payments ng isang company. Like for example, yung magbabayad nila ng mga utilities, ng mga taxes, tsaka ng mga iba pa nilang expenses. So, ang formula ni operating cash flow is operating cash flow is equal to EBIT or earnings before interest and taxes. So, si EBIT, siya yung amount after isubtract lahat ng sales operating cost bago siya isubtract sa taxes and interest. So, si 1, given na siya na 1, multiplier na lang siya minus tax rate. So, para makuha sa tax rate, ang formula niya is tax rate is equal to taxes over earnings before taxes plus depreciation and amortization. So, si EBIT, kilala rin siyang NOPAT. So, si NOPAT or Net Operating Profit After Taxes, siya yung pwedeng kitain ni company if wala siyang magiging utang. So, after makompute si EBIT, pwede na natin i-rewrite siya as operating cash flow is equal to NOPAT plus depreciation and amortization. So, para mas magets natin, try natin itong gamitin sa data ng income statement. So, kanina balance sheet, so, ngayon naman is income statement. So, ang first step natin is kukunin muna natin si EBIT or si NOPAT. So, ang NOPAT doon is based sa income statement is 283,800,000. 1 minus yung tax rate natin. So, para makuha si tax rate, kukunin muna natin si taxes. So, 780,300 over yung earnings before taxes na 195 million times 100%. So, ang lalabas doon is 0.3985 or 0.4 since i-round off pa natin siya. So, pag nakuha natin yung tax rate natin, ang unang isolve doon is yung 1 minus 0.4. So, ang lalabas doon is 283,800,000 times 0.6 plus 100 million. is equal to 170,280,000. So, itong amount na to, siya na yung magiging NOPAT natin. So, after natin makuha yung NOPAT, pwede na natin gamitin yung nare-write natin na equation. So, operating cash flow is equal to NOPAT plus depreciation. So, since si depreciation lang yung non-cash charge dito, siya lang yung gagamitin natin. So, operating cash flow is equal to 170,280,000 plus yung depreciation na 1 million is equal to 270,280,000. So, ito na yung magiging operating cash flow natin. So, si free cash flow naman, basically ito yung mga tirang cash na pwede nang i-distribute sa mga stockholders natin or sa mga investors tsaka sa mga debt holders after isettle lahat ng mga necessary investments katulad ng mga fixed assets, ng mga new products, and yung working capital para masustain yung ongoing operations ng isang business. So, ang formula ni free cash flow is free cash flow is equal to operating cash flow minus capital expenditures and net operating working capital. So, next is market value added and economic value added. So, si market value added, ginagamit siya para malaman if si company ba is nag-grow yung value niya over time, and parang ito rin yung way if magiging maganda ba yung impact na ito sa mga investors or sa mga future investors ng isang company. So, ang formula ni market value added is market value added is equal to share outstanding times stock price minus book value of equity. So, sa example dito, for Allied, which has 50 million shares outstanding and a $23 price versus a book value of 940 million. So, yung share outstanding dito is yung 15 million share outstanding times yung stock price natin na $23. So, ang lalabas doon is 1,150 million minus yung book value natin na 940 million. So, 1,150 million minus 940 million is equal to 210 million. So, ito na yung magiging market value added natin. So, the higher the market value added, the better the job management. So, sa economic value added naman, so sa madaling salita, si economic value added parang we're just trying to see if how much exactly the value you add in the company. And sabi dito, it differs sharply from accounting net income. So, si accounting net income kasi basically, ito yung pinaka-bottom line. Like for example, si company, kumita siya ng 1,000,000. And then yung 800,000 doon is ginamit niya sa mga taxes at saka sa mga iba pang expenses. So, ang net income niya na lang is 200,000. So, ayun yung pinaka-bottom line. While sa economic value added naman, parang pinipredict mo or tinitignan mo if magiging magkano yung future value ng isang company.
Federal income tax system adapted to the Philippine context. Next slide, please. Yung unang slide po, yung nauna po dyan. Okay. The train law or the tax reform for acceleration and inclusion. So, sa mga hindi nakakaalam kung ano ang train law, ito ay formal na inahayag bilang Republic Act number 10963 na inaprobahan ni Duterte noong December 17, 2017. Ang key components ng tax na ito is ma-unburden ang mga empleyado. So, hindi lang minimum wage ang exempted ngayon sa income tax. Lahat ng mga kumikita ng 250,000 annually and below or monthly na 21,000 pesos, wala nang buwis. Ang ninanais na layunin ng Batas Train Law ay makabuon o magkaroon ng simple o epektibo na sistema ng tax collection. So, ang tax collection, ang 70% of na makukuha sa may tax for bill yun. And then yung 30% for social services employee. Next slide, please. So, under the train law, the reduction of the corporate income tax rate for domestic corporations was implemented in the following manner. So, ayan po siya, 30% to 25%. Next slide, please. So, let's consider a fictional domestic corporation called XYZ Corporation operating in the Philippines. So, currently, XYZ Corporation is subject to a corporate tax rate of 30% on its annual taxable income. So year one, taxable income is 10,000 pesos. Corporate tax rate is 30%. Corporate tax payable is magiging 3 million pesos. And then after tax profit, magiging 7 million pesos. Ay, 7 million, yeah. And then ganun siya sa second year, magiging 25%. And then sa third year, magiging 20%. So, next slide please. Ay, next pala ulit. Yung nauna. Yan. In this example, as the corporate tax rate gradually decreases, XYZ corporations after tax profit increased, this surplus can be reinvested into the company for expansions, research and development, or distributed to stockholders as dividends. Moreover, the reduced corporate tax rate may attract more investors, both domestic and foreign, leading to increased economic activity and job creation within the Philippines. Next slide, please.
So our next topic is individual tax. Here in the Philippines, we have three types of individual taxpayer. Number one is pure compensation income earner, pure business income earner or self-employed, and lastly, mixed income earner. Pure pure compensation income earner, in this type of individual taxpayer, all of their income is coming from one employer. So, as you can see in this illustration, ganito kino-compute yung tax due ng mga pure compensation income earner. Kapag ang annual income nila ay hindi lumalagpas ng 250,000, wala silang tax due. Pero kapag ang annual income pero kapag ang annual income nila is lumalagpas na ng 250,000 at hindi lumalagpas ng 450,000, meron na silang additional rate na 15,000%. Next is pure business income earner or self-employed. In this type of individual taxpayer, all of their income is coming from their business or self-employment. Example of self-employment is bookkeepers, freelancer, and content creator. Kino-compute yung tax due nila into two different ways. First is based on graduated income tax rate. And the second one is the 8% optional income tax rate based on the income tax rate after ibawas ng 250,000. Last is mixed income earner, in which all of their income is coming from their business and to their employer. Just like business income earner, kinukompute ng tax nila based on 8% optional income tax rate. Ang pinagkaiba lang is sa pure business income earner, binabawas ang 250,000 sa gross income, while sa fixed income earner is directly nang minumultiply ang 8% sa gross income. Ang reason dito is dahil yung 250,000 is naka-incorporate na doon sa pag-compute ng income tax due galing sa pagiging empleyado. Next topic is the excise tax. A tax on the production, sale, or consumption of a commodity in a country applies on goods manufactured or produced in the Philippines for domestic sale or consumption or for any other disposition and on goods imported. On the Philippines, we have two types of excise tax. First is the specific tax. It refers to the excise tax imposed which is based on weight or volume capacity or any other physical unit of measurement. In the manner of computation, number of units or other measurements multiplied by the specific tax rate. Next is the ad valorem tax. It refers to the excise tax which is based on the selling price or other specified value of the goods or articles. In the manner of computation, it is the number of units or other measurements times selling price of any specific value per unit times ad valorem tax rate. The major classification of excisable articles and related caudal section is number 1, alcohol products. It includes distilled spirits, wines, and fermented liquors. Number 2 is tobacco products, include cigarettes and cigars and inspection fee. And number 3 is petroleum products. Number 4 is miscellaneous articles, includes automobiles, non-essential goods, non-essential services, and sweetened beverages. And lastly, number 5, mineral products. Person liable to excise tax is, in general, on domestic or local articles. It is the manufacturer, producer, owner, or person having possession of articles removed from the place of production without the payment of the tax. And on imported articles, it is the importer, owner, person who is found in possession of articles which are exempt from excise taxes other than those legally entitled to exemption. Payment of excise tax is in domestic products, it is before release from place of productions imported, and in imported products, it is before the release from custom custody. Our last topic is the value added tax or VAT. Value added tax is a form of sales tax in which it is a tax on consumption on the sale, barter, exchange, or lease of goods or properties and services in the Philippines, and in importation of goods into the Philippines. Or it is an indirect tax which may be shifted or passed into the buyer, transferee, or leasee of goods, properties, or services. So the VAT rate here in the Philippines is 12%. The question is, who is the required to file the VAT returns? The required to file the VAT returns is any person or entity who in the course of his trade or business sells, barter, exchanges, leases, goods or properties, and renders services subject to VAT. If aggregate amount of actual gross sales or receipts exceeds to 3 million pesos, or any person, whether or not made in the course of his trade or business who imports goods. We have three kinds of sales. Sales number 1 is the regular sale, which is 12%, zero rated sale, and exempt sale. VAT can be filed using the monthly basis or monthly filing not later than the 20th day following the end of each month and quarterly within 25 days following the close of the taxable quarter. And that's all for our report.